Hello everyone, I am Chandan Palwar, a student from IIM Shillong, welcomes you all to another series of podcasts powered by Grow Junction. I'm very excited to welcome our today's speaker, Mr. Akshay Sir. He's currently working as a consultant at Deloitte India. So hi sir, how are you?
All good, Chandan. Thank you so much, first of all, for inviting me. It's a real pleasure. I've been on the other side many times. I've interviewed many people, but I think this is one of the few times where people have asked to interview me. So I'm a bit nervous and I hope it goes well.
I'm glad to take this opportunity as well, sir.
Absolutely.
Okay, so can you please tell us a brief about your introduction? Like, what is your journey all about, and what made you join as a consultant in Deloitte India?
Right. So I'll start with my introduction.
Yeah, please,
Uh,
sir.
I'm a chartered accountant and I've cleared all levels of CFA and FRM. I
Okay.
graduated from IIM Kozhikode in 2020, the infamous COVID batch. Uh, and I joined Deloitte India in their strategy and commercial due diligence team. So I worked here now for over 1.5 years. I've worked across multiple sectors like agriculture, healthcare, logistics, etc. And I'm over there. I'm also part of the recruitment team. So from deciding which college to go to shortlisting people, and to designing the buddy programs, I'm involved in all these things. Pre MBA, I worked for 1.5 years in Sun Capital as a debt syndication executive. So that's about me professionally. Apart from that, there are two things which I'm very passionate about. I am very passionate about content creation. So I create a lot of content on Quora. I have, I think, 6 million plus views over there,
Oh,
and
wow.
currently I write on LinkedIn as well. And the second thing which I'm very passionate about is mentoring people. So I've given lectures, for a lot of colleges. I've associated with ISAC, Protract, SRCC, etc. And I was also featured in Forbes India magazine for utilizing the pandemic in an innovative way through my mentorship initiatives.
As far as it is concerned, I'm sure the watchers, the viewers of this particular video must be known that Mr. Akshay sir is a great personality. And as sir, while you were talking, so I was just wondering that you are a chartered accountant. So what made you join consultant? Like, how this shift from CA to a consultant?
Well, that's a very, very interesting question. Uh, Actually, when I was doing my chartered accountancy, there was one thing which I got very clear about, was that I was not very interested in doing the traditional tax and audit work, which CAs are known to do.
Yeah.
So I realized very early on, I think after 1 year in my articleship, I realized that, nahi yaar, I can't do this for my entire life. There are many people who are very passionate about these things as well, but not me. So I started then researching more about other career opportunities. What else can I do to make my profile stronger? What are the other roles available in the market? And I felt that consulting was a good fit for me. And I realized that, and I think a basic research will give you the same answer, that if you want to become a consultant, the easiest way is to do a good MBA from a good college. I think that's the easiest way to get into any consulting company. I mean, let just go to LinkedIn and check out the employees of any of the top consulting firms. You'll see they are filled with consultants. And I mean, I've seen people go for an MBA even after 5-6 years in their career, just because they feel that it will add something else. It will make them more attractive in the job market. So that's why I feel that an MBA really helps. And I mean, if you just see the recent the wars, which the the referral war which is going on,
Yeah.
I'm sure you must have seen on LinkedIn. BCG, McKinsey, Bain, all are constantly recruiting people.
Yes.
But if you see one common thing between all of these posts, they
Yes.
ask for an
Consulting.
MBA from a tier one college. So
Okay.
that's why I feel MBA very important. And I mean, if you want to be into consulting.
Okay. So well, this is so great knowing you in depth. So well, it is so encouraging. Like, your introduction is something that fascinated all of us. And even like, I'll talk about me. I got so much interested while knowing about you, like your journey from CA to a consultant. And what about the other companies that are focusing on the MBA tier 1 schools, B schools? So yeah, definitely, I am sure that most of the learning is going to be get from you in this particular podcast. Okay, so sir, what do you such as far as your goals and visions are concerned? So what do you want to say about it?
Well, this reminds me of my MBA days. A very typical question which all B schools ask.
True, sir.
So you know, uh, maybe what I'll do is maybe I'll just divide it into two parts. Professionally and personally. So if I talk about professionally, uh, you know, currently I'm very happy in the consulting space.
Okay.
I think there are many things to learn. So what my focus is right now, maybe in the short to medium term, is to try to do different types of projects. Try to go through many sectors. Like as I've said, I've been fortunate enough to work on, let's say, the COVID vaccine, and then the mushroom market, international mushroom market. I've worked on a lingerie brand. There are so many different sectors I've looked at, and I want to explore more so that I can finally decide where I want to make my career in. So that's what my short to medium term goal is, to do different kind of work, and try to learn new things. And personally, as I've already said, I'm passionate about mentoring people. uh, it's very important for me that I'm able to help few people, because I've made mistakes. Obviously everyone makes mistakes in their life. So I know that I can help people, so that they don't make the same mistakes which I made. So that's what I want to do. I want to create, keep creating content, and collaborate with the right organizations like Grow Junction, and help people. That's what I want to do, personally.
That's your generosity, sir. Definitely that you're gonna you attended this podcast just for mentoring the people and also letting them grow in their career ladder in especially the consulting domain. Well,
Right.
coming forward with we would like to know, like, any experiences apart from your experience that you did CA and then you realized that this is not your cup of tea, and then you switched on to the consulting domain. So what other possible experiences that you have had that made you feel that no, this is not done and you need to put some corrections into this, and that made you build your this particular personality that we are seeing right now?
Right. So there are so many things.
Okay.
After every maybe few months, you learn something new about yourself, about your career, etc. But I think there are two, I think, major instances which really changed my outlook, and for the better, I would say. The first one is, when I failed to clear CA final in my first attempt. This is, I mean, way back in 2016, 2015, 2016.
Okay.
uh, and by that time, till that time, I had not failed any exam, because in general, I mean, people don't fail as such. They don't really
It was the
fail
first
exams.
failure.
Exactly. So
Okay.
my my outlook was that if someone has failed, was he has not worked hard enough. It's because uski galti hogi. He
Right.
has not worked hard enough, and he deserves to fail. That was the kind of mentality, which is not right. Because when
Okay.
I failed, I realized that you know there are many things which I did right, but there were also maybe few things which I missed out on, or there were few things which maybe happened on the day. Anything can happen. Even if you put in your 100%, there are times where you might not make the cut.
Okay.
And I think that is what I learned that time. That like MS Dhoni says, keep focusing on the process. You might not get the result in the first time, but maybe eventually you will. So that's what I learned, and I think that was very, very important, because that changed my attitude and my outlook towards life. The
I
second
believe.
thing.
Okay.
Ah,
Yeah.
please go ahead.
No, no,
Yeah.
I was just about to mention that I believe this gonna not be so included consulting session or consulting podcast. Could be more like a life lesson thing.
Gyan,
Like
Gyan. Oh shit, yeah.
some guru is
Uh,
here and letting us know.
no, no,
No,
no. Oh shit.
no, no. We
I
are.
mean, every MBA learns how to do gas. You know that.
Right, sir. Right, right. Yeah, please go ahead, sir. We would love to hear.
Right. And the second one, was very recent actually. So when I graduated from IMK, now IMK, as you know, is
Yes. Yes.
one of the better colleges in India.
True.
Uh, One of the older IIMs, ABC, LKIS. These are the older IIMs. So when I graduated, obviously you feel like now, so everything is in your control, life set here types. But
Right.
when I graduated, COVID hit that time, and I remember my job getting deferred by 9 months.
Oh my
right?
God.
Apart from that, I was supposed to get married. Uh, that got I mean, a proper marriage where you call all your friends, family, etc. That got postponed. Obviously, my honeymoon got postponed.
Okay.
Uh, so personally and professionally both, I was supposed to shift to another city. That plan got cancelled because of COVID. So personally, I was a 25-year-old sitting at home after having paid 20 lakhs
Oh my God.
with a job, with no job essentially, because it had
Yeah.
been deferred. And that time it was not even easy to get internships. It was hard to get internships. So life was can be very unpredictable.
Right.
But it was that time when, along with a friend of mine, I started my own initiative to help people. And you know uh, because of the time we had
Yeah.
in hand, we were able to pursue that passion of ours.
Yes.
And we could give lectures in many other colleges. uh, we could collaborate with a lot of good people, which helped us professionally as well, which improved our communication skills, which gave me access to a big market. So and finally, eventually, that ended with me getting featured in Forbes India magazine. So
Oh,
what I learned was that sometimes whatever you do, things might not go as you planned, but you still need to just keep fighting, because these days will come, but then eventually you will be able to overcome them. So I
right.
think that was also very, very important for me, because trust me when I say this, my life was at a not at a very good position after after my MBA, thanks to all these things happening. But yeah, I think
Right.
eventually it turned out well. So
Yeah, I think it is like if you cannot make the things work, you just try to make the things work for you.
right, exactly. And it's so random, because nobody could have predicted COVID, right? And
Right.
I'm sure there are many people like me who've suffered the same fate, and I'm sure even they have overcome this and doing pretty well.
Okay.
So yeah,
So, like by this, I think we should understand that these are the things that you possibly created to keep you motivated throughout. Is this so?
absolutely, definitely.
Okay.
And I now really enjoy them. So it fortunately it was it went okay for me.
Yeah, right. So as we know, like there could be several different all together experiences for like for everyone. Like for me, COVID hit and I joined IIM Shillong, and currently I'm in a virtual setup, virtual mode of this
Right,
particular
right.
exchanging of learnings. So like in your opinion, in your particular past, you the COVID hit when the moment you was about to join the job. So there
Right,
could be different experiences altogether with different viewers who could be
absolutely.
watching this video particularly right
Right,
now. So
right.
what do you suggest to all the viewers who must be impacted by the COVID-19 and altogether must be facing some issues? So how like what do you exactly suggest to particular those people in order to achieve mental stability in life and also in order to succeed?
Wow, it's a very trust me, that's a very difficult question to answer. But what I'll try to do is I'll try to break it up. So let's say for a student, what I would say is that even though it has created a lot of challenges, it has also created a lot of opportunities. So for example, the fact that we are sitting and having this conversation is thanks to COVID, because I mean I don't think earlier there were a lot of
Yeah,
such
true. Virtual
interactions
events.
happening, right?
Right.
And I think so. There, even though there are some doors which have been closed, there are also many doors which have been opened. So you need to understand, what works for you. You need to understand, what you can excel at, and try to, um, uh, try to exploit that. I know many people who, to strengthen their profile and also to help people, they started their own initiative with respect to helping people in COVID, and
Okay.
it did wonders for them professionally also, and it helped a lot of people as well. So I think there are many things which you can do as a student.
Okay.
And for working professionals, I would say that uh, I've seen many of my seniors who did not get any hike for 1 year,
Okay.
who were fired, and trust me, that is heartbreaking. But what I've also seen is that after 2 years, there has been a market correction, and you can see that so
Right.
many firms are hiring
Okay.
crazily.
And a
So
crazy package also.
exactly, and all the firms have also increased their packages. You know that. I mean,
Yeah.
as a B school student, you know that.
Yes.
So I feel that it was a short-term problem, but eventually everyone will come out of it. So even if you are not at a good place right now, just hang on, try
Okay.
to make the best of the situation currently, and then later on obviously you will overcome it.
All
So
right.
I think the important thing is to keep learning new skills and and continue excelling in what you want to do basically in your life.
So we got to have so much life, so many life lessons throughout this particular podcast, and I'm sure definitely this is gonna be so much helpful. Like these days, people, even in fact students or the working professionals or even the homemakers that we like, our mothers especially. So like this is a constant thing that is like being imparting in particular humans, that the like mental disorders due to COVID-19, and also due to lack of income generation. So most of the people have lost their incomes and savings.
Right.
So yeah, this is like so essential. I would like to thank you from the bottom of not my
Right.
own heart, but definitely for the in sense of the future viewers of this particular video
And
also.
let me tell you one more
Yeah.
advantage which working professionals also had. This is more,
Okay.
this is like it's in lighter vein. But so earlier, what used to happen was, if you had to give an interview, you had to go to the you had to maybe take a leave from your office, go to that place, give an interview, and come back. But now what you can do is you can just say that, boss, I'll just be back in an hour. Give the interview and
Yeah, you go to washroom and
so
attend the meeting.
exactly. So that's that's good. So you get more opportunities to interview with other firms. But not that I was doing that. But yeah.
Right. Okay. So now coming forward with one of the craziest question, like I personally like that question. So if there is a possibility that you could turn back to the time and
Hmm.
talk to your own 18 years old self. So what would you tell that particular person? Like definitely you. So what would you suggest to him, to your own self?
Oof, the first thing I would say is don't gain so much weight. Okay, I have gained so much weight that I would say, boss, please focus on your health also. But in jokes apart, I think if I talk about myself,
Yes.
I was when I was 18 years old, I was always thinking in terms of money.
Okay.
Like you want to do a job which offers you more money. You know 25 तक इतना कमाना है, 30 तक इतना होना ही चाहिए. But that is not the right attitude, because I feel that there is a lot more to any job than just money. You also need to think about the long term. Maybe some job is paying you a lot right now, but it might not be good for the long term. It could be harming you basically. And there are many such jobs available in the post MBA as well, that they pay you very well initially, but they actually end up harming you eventually. So I think I would just say that don't focus only on money. There are other things as well which you need to look at.
Okay.
Look at the role, not just the money. And that is something which many of my seniors at Deloitte have also highlighted to me, that always be in such a firm which values you and it gives you opportunities, than be in a firm which maybe gives you money but has a toxic work culture.
Okay.
So think of all these things when you are deciding a job, because I think the job the your dream job at 18 would be
Okay.
very different from the dream job at the age of 25.
Okay, all right. So, in precise, what do you suggest? Like choosing a great company with a decent package, or a great package at a decent company. So, what do you
I
suggest?
I actually had written a post about this, and
Hmm.
I very strongly believe that even during MBA, what
Yeah,
people do is they sell their soul for a high paying job.
yeah,
I feel you need to focus on the role, because if, let's say, you are a CA but you
yeah.
get into IT consulting, right, and maybe they're paying you a very good sum of money,
Okay.
but eventually after 1 year you realize कि boss ये तो करना ही नहीं था यार. So now after 1 year, that experience is as such worthless in the market, if let's say you want to do some other thing, and
Right,
now you might have to take a pay cut after 1 year. So eventually I feel that you always go for the right role,
right,
even if it pays slightly lesser. It's okay, because eventually you'll make it up, because obviously market correction will happen. Even
right.
if you are highly paid, you will maybe slide down, or maybe if you're lower paid, you will slide up. That will happen. So I think personally I would suggest go for a company where the role is perfect, a good brand maybe, but money should not be the only criteria for you, at least now, because we are still slightly young. Maybe obviously once we are in the 30s, maybe our outlook changes, but that's what my perception is, at
Right,
least now.
right. like I'm currently saying right, like altogether many times. But definitely, if I get a particular, a package of like, let's suppose,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
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 So I don't think that.
Very difficult. Very difficult. Right. Right.
Very
Absolutely.
difficult. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So okay, all right. Okay, so let's talk about your work. So what do you exactly work as in consulting, and what other particular roles and responsibilities a consultant do have?
Right. Once again, this is a very broad question, I would say. Very different in different firms. So if I talk about my current role, I would say that basically in Deloitte, my team is not very top heavy. So when I say top heavy, I mean, when I say it's not very top heavy, I mean that uh, you will have one manager, probably one partner who's looking after everything, and you'll have three or four people at my level, or maybe my juniors. So what that does is it gives me a lot more opportunities to lead the project, you know, uh, and to deliver more.
Yeah.
Whereas if let's say I was in a firm which is more top heavy, where I have two or three managers above me, and in that case, what happens is I'm only involved in execution. So
Yet again.
that's one thing. So I think it's different in different firm. I'll talk about Deloitte. In
Yeah.
Deloitte, if I talk about my roles and responsibilities, I think we have to handle the execution from top to bottom.
Oh
So
my God.
basically, what it means is, obviously we don't know how to go about things, so your manager will guide you as to how to go about it.
Okay.
He'll try to help make the, let's say, the framework which we need to work in, but
Okay.
then it's our duty to execute everything. So for example, um, what will any consulting project require? It will require that we do a lot of secondary research. So
Right.
we have a lot of tools for that. So we have to find data about any industry. Like for example, I worked on a project where I had to do some research on the international mushroom market. So obviously we don't have any idea about it. So we have to properly do the research. The
True.
second thing which we have to do is we also have to have calls with a lot of experts. So and that is something which I really enjoy about my job. So what happens is, if let's say you are working for uh, okay, let's say you're working for a top e-commerce company. So and you want to find out how do they increase their sales. So
Yeah.
one of the easiest ways is to talk to the AVPs, VPs, or category heads of a competitor, to see
Yeah.
what they are doing, what are their ideas,
Okay.
what are their numbers, and then we can try to implement those for our company as well. So that is something which we do. We try to keep having conversations with industry leaders, and I think that is also very interesting. So these are majorly what we do. So then once we have all this information, we have to create the PPT. As we all know, a lot
Yeah.
of time is spent in PPT, etc. And that's it. And finally, we have to present it in front of the client. So eventually everything is dependent on us,
Yeah.
but we are always handheld, thanks to our managers and partners who guide us, basically.
Your co-workers basically.
Exactly. Right.
All right. Okay, so like as we all know that you are a chartered accountant by profession and also currently serving as a consultant in Deloitte, India. So what do you think that how being a chartered accountant, like what makes you different as a consultant? Being chartered accountant, what add-on skills that you believe that you must be having right now?
So very interesting question. And uh, it's strange that CAs don't really get that many consulting jobs. It's strange,
Yeah,
but CA MBAs get a lot of consulting jobs. So if you actually see, uh, maybe MBBs or even the Big Four, you will see they are filled with CA MBAs,
true.
but hardly few only CAs, which is
Yeah,
difficult for me to understand. But okay,
that's
I mean, I get it. But yeah, so I think as a CA, what really helps me is, yeah, we really have a very good understanding about the balance sheet and financial statements.
yeah,
So in many of the projects, what we have to do is you have to create a financial model for them, right? Because if let's say they want to look at their growth, or if we want to value a company, what we'll have to do, we'll have to project their statements. How will they be 8 years from now? And for those things, you need to have a very good control over your financial statements. Let's say if let's say there is an increase in interest rate, what all will it impact, where all it will hit the balance sheet, or where all it will hit the P&L statement, where all will it hit the cash flow. There are
Yes.
many things which come into play. So I think that is something which we are very good at as compared to our, you know, our co-workers who are engineers, because they learn about all these things only in MBA. So that is something which we are more comfortable in. I think that is the biggest advantage we have.
Yes.
That being said, engineers also have so many advantages. They understand all of these technical things much better than we do. But I think this is where our differentiator is कि finance का कुछ भी होता है ना, तो it is very easy for us to crack.
Getting it. So you are saying that you're good at numbers, and definitely this gonna be helpful for you in particular domain consulting. Uh,
Absolutely.
all right, getting it. So a person who is basically interested in finance and planning to get the consulting as his or her minor in the particular MBA program, so he or she can particularly pursue that particular duo of finance and consulting. Is it so?
Yeah, I mean, so if you talk about our recruitment as well, we
Yeah.
do give certain weightage to people who have done CFAs or FRMs. We do give weightage. So basically, even though it's not like finance is a prerequisite, but basic financial skills are definitely needed. And if you are very good at it, great. It's a good skill to have, 100%.
All right. Okay. So as we discussed about the positive aspects of this particular CA and consultant, so now we would like to know about few of the challenges that you being a consultant generally faces in your entire day or entire day of being a consultant. So what would you like to say on that?
Yeah, so the first thing is which I also, it was a reality check for me also when I joined consulting. Yeah, whenever you talk about consulting, what will people say? They will say yeah, you are changing the world, creating an impact, bring doing impactful work. But actually, once you enter into it, there is a lot of shitty work which you will have to do.
All right.
If you have to research, you have to go through tons of documents, finding the relevant data points, which is very very boring at times.
Getting it.
And but you have to do it. It's part
And
of the job. You
it
have
is
to do it.
indeed skillful. It is indeed
Exactly.
skillful.
So that is something which can be boring. Secondly, let's say if you're making a financial model, yeah,
Yes.
making the model is fun, but you also have to keep ensuring that it's properly formatted. Yeah, एक भी figure change हो गया तो you have to. So there are so many,
Right.
and even when you're making a PPT, you have to ensure that अच्छा सबका font, Calibri है,
Right.
9 ही है, एक भी जगह पे 10 नहीं हुआ है.
Right.
तुमने sources properly, you've written the sources properly. Uh, Everything is properly in line. Formatting issues एक भी नहीं होने चाहिए, because if a partner notices a formatting error, he will be like, what nonsense is this? This is such a basic thing. You don't even know how to make PPT, and it will be very embarrassing. So there are many times where you will have to do things which are boring, which are
Right.
shitty, but it's a part of the job. And the second thing is, yeah, work-life balance can be a problem. So it's a service industry.
Okay.
If the client wants it in 2 days, he wants it in 2 days.
You
If
have
your
to.
client is working on a weekend and you are not working, but if a client is working and he expects that you also work, you have to work. So
Wow.
that work-life balance could be a problem, and I think every consultant knows this. But every budding consultant also should know this, that work-life can be a problem. I mean, I think these are the only two problems which I see. Obviously, then there could be others as well, but these are the two problems which at least I face personally.
So what about you as in person? Have you adjusted with the work-life balance that your particular company is offering you right now?
Yeah, I've sort of been lucky.
Okay.
That see, so I always divide consulting firms into three clusters.
Yeah.
I mean, five clusters, but let's talk about three. So if I talk about the top three, first is you have the MBB, then you have firms like Eva Parthanan, Monitor Deloitte, Accenture Strategy, Alvarez and Marshall, and then you have Big Four, right? So I think in the Big Four, work life is slightly better as compared to the other two.
Okay.
So if I were to maybe just give an estimated figure, I would say maybe the MBBs work 15 hours a day versus 12 hours for Big Four versus let's say 13 to 14 hours for EYP, Monte Deloitte, etc. So I feel that in terms of work life, Big Four is the best suited. If let's say you are someone who values his work life a lot, I think
Okay.
Big Four is best suited for you. So unfortunately, I would say that I have not had that uh, those many late nights as compared to maybe my peers. But
Right.
yes, there are times where you have to do it, but it's okay. I mean, you also understand, you are also mature, you
Right.
know that you have to do it. Yeah.
By mentioning 15 hours a day, so you literally mean that 15 hours a day a person needs to work?
Well, so I've never I've never worked in an MBB, so I can't say that. But yes, I've had friends and they have told me that it can get hectic.
Oh my god.
And actually, I agree. I know because I have seen many of my friends slog, cancel plans at
Right.
the last moment because they're still working.
Yeah.
But then that being said, they are also compensated accordingly. I mean, we all know, what kind of money
True.
the MBB consultants make.
Getting it. All right. So, like, this is something that made me goosebumps, and also, like, work-life balance. Definitely, viewers of this particular video must be getting to know that consulting is not that easy job. You need to
Right.
get through a lot of analysis of documents, lot of analysis of news articles and whatnot. Numbers, you need to be good for in numbers, and most likely, even if you are good at numbers, even if you're good at analysis part, then also your game is not over. You just need to complete that particular whole process, and you consultant is not that easy job, just to be make sure. Getting
Right.
it. All right. Okay, so as we know, as we have came to this far, that consulting is not that easy job. So what do you suggest to those people who like aspires to be a consultant in future and wants himself, or herself to make the task easy for, like, for him or her? So what do you suggest to them? Like, what kind of skills do they portray, or do they assess in them? What exactly do you want to say about that?
Right. So, what we should do is let's look at the interview process for any consulting firm.
Okay.
So, I would probably divide it into two types of companies. So,
Okay.
let's first talk about the MBBs. So, if you talk about the MBBs, they have a very simple interview structure. You'll
Okay.
have 3 to 4 rounds. Each round, they will ask you a case or a guesstimate, a case will probably be 2 or 3 lines, sometimes even a one-line case, and you have to solve it. That's one way. That's one type of interview. The second type of interviews is something which many times the Big Four take, which is apart from having a case and guesstimate round, they also uh, have a round where they test your excellent PPT skills. That's it. I mean, that's the only difference. That's the one additional round which sometimes Big Four has.
All
So
right.
if you actually look at both these interview techniques, you will see that they are looking for two major skills. One is your
Creativity.
problem solving skills.
Another should be
Sorry.
creativity, I hope.
Exactly. So problem solving. So in terms of problem solving, what do they want to look at? They want to look at a whether you think in a very structured way, right? Are you creative enough? Do you have a part of it also depends on how well read you are. Let's say if you know about any industry, obviously you can solve it in a much better
Right.
way. So I've seen many people who people who have, let's say, uh, done some equity research work. Sometimes they're very good in consulting because they have some idea about all the industry. So in an interview they know what to speak about every industry.
Right.
Anyways, that being said, the two skills which interviews look for is one, problem solving. I think the easiest way to develop this is to solve cases when you are in college. In college, IIMs follow the case methodology, right? So you have access to Harvard cases,
Yes.
top cases made by brilliant authors. So I
Right.
would say that try to read them and try to solve them. It
Okay.
will definitely help you, broaden your skills. Apart from that, you also have access to case consulting books published by IIM Ahmedabad, ISB, and IMK also has their own book now. So you can go through these books. It will help you improve your problem solving skills. The
All
second
right.
thing is communication. Communication is very important, very, very, very important, because in all probability, within 2 months of getting you know getting uh, getting the job, you will probably be sitting in front of a client, speaking to them, presenting to them.
Right.
So you should be someone who is confident, who knows how to speak, who
Okay.
knows how to effectively communicate with people. So this is something which they also look at. These are the two major skills, I think. Apart from that, in terms of technical skills, I would just say there are two major things which they, which they would look at: excellent PPT. That's it. PPT,
Okay.
you will get access to a lot of, you'll get, you'll really improve this during your MBA. You know that there are so many PPTs which you make, so that will, that will improve on
Yes.
its own. Excel, sometimes many people don't get access to. I would suggest for those people who are, not very good in Excel, just take some courses on any of these websites,
Right.
because Excel also will be expected. They will expect that you know basic formulas, how to format things, etc. So three skills I would, point at: problem solving, communication, and lastly technical, meaning PPT and Excel.
Okay. So as far as communication is considered, like it is like you just need to be a little bit more presentable, and it is like you are doing your own marketing. So you are selling your own self to the customers there after you. So
Right. Right. I mean, so let's say if I tell you that, uh, an XYZ company is facing losses. So
yes.
what do you? So you need to ask the right questions. You need to ask them in the right way as well, right? Because you need to understand what kind of person your client is, and you need to tailor your questions accordingly. There are some people who are very friendly. You can be, you can maybe communicate with them in a different way versus some who are very strict, and you have to understand, who you're talking with, and you have to change your approach. Plus, communication not only means with the client, it also means internally with the team, because you are working with different people for every project, right? So you also need to communicate properly with the team and also with your manager, because your manager obviously is not interested in the day-to-day things. He'll ask you for an update, so you need to properly present to him so that he can properly present to the client. So
Get.
communication not only with the client but also within the team is very, very critical.
All right. So, like, I've always heard till before this particular podcast that only like creativity is required in the marketing domain, but it is not restricted to those marketing domain, but moreover into the consulting also.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, if you're a creative person, things do become
Yeah.
easier. Definitely.
Definitely. I never knew that a consultant is responsible for making PPTs and has been judged or in particular creative.
But PPTs you will be making throughout your life. I mean, as a consultant, PPT is very, very important skill to have. Very important skill to have.
Yeah, it is the best way possible that how you summarize a particular case in front of the
100%,
customer.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, totally agree. All right, so coming forward with the books that you mentioned to us, that I'm Ahmedabad, I'm Kozhikode, that particular books they have made. So what kind of other books that you want to suggest to the viewers of this particular video in order to gain some skills altogether, and also moreover a stable personality?
Right. So if I talk about consulting interviews per se, I
Yeah.
would I would really think that the IMA plus ISB book is more than enough. Honestly, more than enough. You will get access to many frameworks,
Okay.
right? Apart from that, if let's say you are still interested, what you can do is, you know, uh,
Right.
what you can do is
Yes.
you need to have some preliminary understanding of many industries. Like for example, you need to, as a, your interviewer maybe can ask you a banking case, an insurance case, a manufacturing case, maybe something in the service industry, maybe something in the IT industry. So what you need to do is you need to have some basic understanding of each of these things. Like for example, I remember, uh, in one of my mock interviews, someone asked me a case about oil and gas industry. Now I had no idea about oil and gas industry. Absolutely no idea. I don't know what upstream, downstream means. These were new terminologies for me, and hence I could not solve the case, very well. But if I would have had some preliminary understanding, it would have been easier. So what I would suggest is try to make a list of, you know, some few set of industries. I think ISB book has a set of industries which you should know. Even the IMA book gives you some perspective on different industries. So just have a preliminary understanding of them. It will help you clear your interviews in a much easier way, because yeah, there will be some industries where you have no idea.
Right.
So you need to just buck up for those.
Right. So, like, coming to this, that like being an MBA student at IIM Shillong, we are just bound with a lot of studies. Not like forget about studies. It is like more about the projects and assignments that we need to do, and also the deadlines. So deadline is the most hyped word in this MBA journey. So it is like we are all together, binded with all the tasks and responsibilities. So how did you manage to get time out of your busy schedule while you were in IMK, that you manage your own self to study IM Ahmedabad books and or ISB book? What made you inspired?
Yeah, I never got good grades in college, huh? So I am the wrong person to answer this.
It is never
But
about grades.
right, but I would say that honestly, my understanding of the MBA system is that in the first year, you obviously will get bit screwed. If a crude word, but yeah, you might get a bit screwed. There are times where you will be very very busy. You'll sleep maybe 5 4 5 hours 6 hours a day. But I think in the second year now, which you will also see, things do
Do
ease
change.
off a bit. And maybe you could have a PPO, so you have time to do other things as well. So I think in the second year you have time. And even if, and I think it is all about making time, right? In what I did was, in my second year, I specifically only took those subjects which I was passionate about or which I really wanted to learn. So for example, in my second year, uh, I took subjects like written analysis and communication because, as I said, I love content creation. So this was something which will directly, which would directly appeal to me. Then I took subjects like public speaking. Why? Because I love to speak in public, and I
So
know
because you want to conduct this particular podcast.
exactly. Right. So I took a course called M&A
Okay.
because that is something which I was interested in. So what I did was I took subjects which I liked or which I was interested in. So I enjoyed doing that, and whenever I had some free time, I would then focus on my consulting prep because I think honestly, to crack an interview, you will you will be competing with people from better colleges than you, with maybe some people who will have better experiences than you, maybe better brands than you also. But if you want to compete with them, if you want to get selected in the top consulting firms, you need to be good in case solving. So maybe you might not be very serious right now, but once you get rejected a couple of times, then you will realize that, boss, you have to buck up and do these problems. Plus, let me tell you, in consulting, if you actually look at top consulting firms, yeah, there are hardly 8 to 10, right? So ऐसा भी नहीं है कि if you get rejected by two, you can go to the other many firms because limited है,
Right, right.
limited है. So I think it is very important that everyone in the second year at least spend some time on case solving. It will do you a world of good.
All right. So the one-stop solution for being a consultant or getting yourself hired as a consultant is conducting your own analysis. First of all, be more presentable, or improve your communication skills, and also your creative skills. Your creativity is utmost very important for this consulting domain. You need to make lots of presentations and all in order to maintain a good decorum with the client. All right.
Right.
Okay.
And just adding one last
Yeah,
thing.
please,
uh,
please.
Specifically, if I talk about the consulting interviews, I would say that when you are off campus, so a typical interview for preparation, typically people say that you need a group of 2 or 3 people,
Yeah.
minimum two. Three is good. Three
Okay.
is the ideal. You need 2 or 3 people. Now, yeah, when you are on campus, you will get access to many people. Okay, your roommate है, तेरा roommate free बैठा होगा, you can do it. You have many people who are passionate about consulting. You can you can do it. But when you are off campus, when you are already working, yeah, you won't get that much time to practice also. So let's say even if you are interviewing for a change, there is a possibility that none of your friends are interviewing, or maybe some of your friends are in IT, and some of your friends are in finance, and they're not interested only.
Possible.
So it is actually best that you practice cases on campus,
Okay.
because it will help you even eventually after 2 years or 3 years, even when you are off campus, because off campus it's very difficult to get people to
Get it.
practice cases with you. I mean, just imagine your friend who you want to practice with. He's currently working with BCG, or he's currently working with Eva Pathan or Deloitte, and he doesn't have time. So eventually you might just end up being alone and have to practicing, which is problematic.
Getting it. So as the conversation have translated to the interview part, so I would like to know about what an interviewer sees in a possible candidate. What exactly what kind of skills or what kind of resume do an interviewer seeks to?
Right. So skills, as I said, two main skills: problem solving and communication. I think
Right,
these are the
right.
most important skills.
Got
For
it, got it.
resume,
Yeah,
I think resume, uh, very very critical. As someone who has been in the recruitment team of Deloitte for past 2 years, I can say that resumes are very important.
okay.
You hardly get, maybe, so imagine if I go to IMK, I get 500 CVs to review, right? Obviously, I'm also doing my other client work, right? So probably you are spending 30 seconds on a CV on an average. Even if
Right,
I
right.
spend 30 seconds on an average on 500 CVs, I'm spending 4 hours, which is half a day, which is big,
Yeah,
quite big, right? So you have to make your CV so impactful that within 30 seconds it can get you selected. That's basically the first thing which I want to highlight. Basic things. On campus, you have to make a one-page CV. I have seen many times off campus people have sent two-page CVs. Yeah, just 2 weeks back I received a four-page CV as well. Okay,
okay.
which makes no sense. Always have one-page CVs. As I said, people only spend 30 seconds to 1 minute on your CV. 4 पेज कौन देखने वाला है? कोई देखने नहीं वाला.
Very
Send
negative.
one-page CV. Only highlight the important things. For example, yeah, when I was in campus, I used to highlight. I used to have 4 points or 5 points for case competitions. Like even if I was a campus finalist, मैं डाल दिया. But now, after 2 years of work experience, I know that point is not relevant now. So you remove it so that you only keep the relevant points in your CV.
Getting it.
So keep it short, keep it crisp. It's a resume, not an autobiography. Okay,
Right. You need to
but
know the
that is
difference.
one, exactly, that is one thing. Secondly, I would say that focus on the impact rather than the roles. I mean, roles is also important, but impact is also very important. So try to bring in numbers. If let's say you've increased the efficiency in some way, or sales को थोड़ा तुमने बढ़ाया है, digital marketing से followers को बढ़ाए हैं, कुछ भी, so just highlight कि impact क्या आया उसका. As a
Okay.
consultant, even when you make PPTs, तुम वही बोलोगे कि ये करो जिससे तुम्हारा इतना फायदा होगा. So
Right.
even as a someone who's reading the resume, I want to see कि ये करो so that ये किया मैंने जिससे मुझे इतना फायदा हुआ.
Okay.
Impact is very important.
Getting it.
uh, and last tip, I think many MBAs know this, but specifically important for non-MBAs, because I'm sure that many of non-MBAs are also seeing this.
True.
There are many people who have different sections for your personality traits or career goals section. So they will have words like I'm very hardworking, I have leadership skills, let's say I'm very a motivated individual, etc. Now, yeah, if I ask you, are you hardworking? Obviously, you'll say yes. If I ask you, do you have leadership skills? Obviously, you'll say yes. Are you motivated? Obviously, you'll say yes. Now, these words are not going to add any value to your CV. What I would suggest is, rather than mentioning these words, try to prove them. Like, for example, if you want to show that you have leadership skills, okay, you can do it by saying that, okay, I started an XYZ club in college. Boss, if you say this, it clearly indicates to me कि इसने initiative लिया. He maybe spoke to 5-6 faculty members, he spoke to 5-6 students, started something. That will give me more perspective rather than saying कि you have leadership skills.
Getting
Don't have
it.
a career goals section. सबके career goals same होते हैं. Majority सबके same होते हैं.
Right.
It will not really differentiate you. So
Right. Right.
use your space judiciously. Don't waste your space in these random words and things.
All right. Like that could be definitely very much beneficial for most of the viewers. In fact, me being an MBA student, also
Right.
my final placements are approaching, maybe like 4 to 5 months post this time. So definitely it's gonna be benefited to me as well in this case. Altogether, I was having a query like when you are an interviewer. So what I've heard, it is not like I'm sure about it. I just need to confirm. Like organizations do use resume tracking softwares with like they used to get bundles of resumes with them, and they just put all of them into the software, and with the particular keywords or keyword analysis is being done throughout your resume, and altogether the keywords that the particular organization have mentored the particular software and the resume, if have those particular keywords, then only your resume gets shortlisted. So what do you have your say in this?
honestly, we don't do that, and I don't think um, many consulting firms do that, because as far as I've understood, I've spoken to many people in
Okay.
MBB as well, and they have a proper system where people like seniors who have, like for example, people like you and me, after 2 or 3 years in the system, we will be the ones who are shortlisting people. That's the system. Honestly, I know that there's a lot of talk about ATS resumes, etc.,
Right. Right.
etc. But honestly, I've not really seen this happening in the consulting domain. And even in Deloitte, when we have seen 500,000 resumes, we've properly gone through them. That being said, that being said, what happens is, which I'm sure you must be knowing, or if you don't know, it will be informative for the viewers as well,
Yes.
that when when colleges send your CV, they
Okay.
also send an Excel where uh, where all the uh, all the data of all the students is given. So for example, they'll have a column with 10th marks, 12th marks,
True.
graduation marks, uh, your hobbies,
The
past
background.
experience, etc. So if, let's say, I want to have those keywords or see those keywords, I can just maybe put a filter or
Right.
control F and search.
Yes.
That does happen sometimes. Like for example, I mean, not we don't have that system, but there are many firms which, let's say, don't select people at all below 70%.
Yeah.
I know that happens in
Certain
many cases,
criteria.
right? So you just have to put a filter in Excel.
Right.
No complicated software, because the platform will do all the
Yeah.
will send you an
Yes.
Excel.
Yes.
So I think in even on campus we maybe use the Excel, but off campus, yeah, I don't think we get so many applications that we have to deploy a system as of now. Not right now. Maybe after a few years, a software might be the answer to all the questions, but not right now.
Getting it. All right. So I think this could be very much beneficial to most of the viewers who are currently watching this video. And I'm sure this is going to be helpful in creating your own resume by your own hand. You just don't need any kind of mentor in helping you through that. I'm sure about this, that watching this 50 minutes of session could be very much helpful in your particular building a resume case. So I would
Right.
like to, I understand that you being a consultant at Deloitte in India, so you must be busy. And I would like to really thank you so much for conducting this, having on this particular podcast session.
Guy, no, no problem at all, Chandan. I really enjoyed it. I
Okay.
think you asked right questions and at the right time. So thank you so much for having me here. Firstly, thank you to the Grow Junction team, and look forward to many more such invitations in the future as well.
Getting it. So just last another, not a question definitely, but just a chit chat. So what kind of advice do you want to give to someone who is pursuing a similar kind of path or a career path in his or her life? Or even it could be any life lesson that you want to give while you are leaving this meet.
Tough, yeah, tough. I would just maybe just say that as a see, consulting is very it's like a Virar local. You can say that difficult to get in, very difficult to get in. Uh, Many people want to get into consulting right away post college, but are not able to get in, and
Okay.
you know that.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, true.
Ideally, if ask an MBA, if you ask a B school student, maybe 60% would want to get into consulting, but only 30%, 25% from a college get in. It's tough to get in. What you should do is keep building a profile. Okay, consulting firms look for spikes, so try to build your academic profile. If let's say it's too late for academic, focus on the other things. Make your personal brand. If that is also not the case, maybe work very hard in your office, in your job which you have. Become the best employee there. If you are the best employee there, obviously people will be interested in talking to you at least.
True.
So keep building a profile. uh, and even if you don't get your desired company right now, if you are you know if you are pulling in the long hours, if you are working hard, you will eventually get there, because getting in is difficult, but once you've got in, yeah, there are hardly 10 companies, right? So eventually 2 साल बाद नहीं तो 5 साल बाद वो यार देखो they will interview you, because और किसको करेंगे,
Right.
है ही 10 company. So just be patient and keep working hard on your profile.
Oh, just one last life lesson. I'm eager to hear from you. Like you are a great mentor, as you said, and also
No,
you.
no, no, I didn't say that. I like mentoring. I'm not a great mentor.
By this time I've easily judged in a positive manner that you are a
Right,
good mentor. You
right,
you mentor good, people in a good manner. So
right.
okay, all right. So I think we can call it a day.
No, no,
And
please ask. You were asking something.
okay, all right. So what kind of people having so much stress these days? Okay, so people who are like, let's talk about the students precisely. So the students are so much in stress, and due to this COVID era also, so they must have lost their jobs or must have deferred their own jobs. Likewise, you, and also there could be a possibility that they might not be able to get themselves enrolled into a MBA school for like so called financial reasons or for this particular reason. So what advice do you want to give to those people who are basically not so mentally fit in a way that they are doing in they are doing their career at a right pace? So what do you want to suggest to those people?
Yeah. So firstly, I want to say that stop judging yourself on the basis of age. Uh, there are people who, in my batch, there were people who were doing the MBA at the age of 21, 22, I guess. And then there was someone like me who was doing his MBA at the age of 24, 25. There were also people who were older than me, right?
Right.
But it doesn't
Certainly.
matter because, uh, you know, if you are really good enough, you will eventually make up for it.
Then
And if let's say you did not clear CAT in your first attempt, that's okay. You still have lot of time. You can do it next year as well. um, I cleared CAT. I mean, I joined my B school in my second CAT attempt firstly.
okay.
And I had also written a post about this, that if let's say तुम्हारा CAT नहीं हुआ, तो
Uh,
always remember what Sanjay Dutt said in Munna Bhai MBBS, that अगले दिन अपने मोहल्ले में ऐश्वर्या आई, कैट नहीं हुआ ठीक है, मतलब कुछ और हो जाएगा, जैक हो जाएगा, नहीं हुआ तो अगले साल हो जाएगा.
right.
It's okay. I mean, honestly, it's okay. uh,
Getting it.
you will eventually make up for it if you are honest and if you keep working hard. Many people in my campus have given CAT 3 times, 4 times. It's
Right.
okay, and now they have the best jobs.
Right.
They have the best jobs, so it's okay.
So it is like you cannot differentiate your own self by the career path only. So it is more like into personality thing, your own mental well-being. So
Yeah, I mean, so the example I give to myself also is,
yes.
let's say, okay, you maybe graduated from your top B school at the age of 27 versus someone who did it in 22. ठीक है, तो ठीक है, you became a partner at BCG at 40 versus your friend who became at the age of 35. So would you call the person who became a partner at the age of 40 a failure? No, you would not.
So
He's still a BCG partner.
BCG
ठीक है,
partner with
so
more
he is still, exactly, he still has respect in the market.
true.
So why this rat race? Just focus on your career, and I think that's it.
I think that could be the best, life lesson that we could hear from you. So I would like to thank you for giving like all of this so much, like this level of learning, and this could not be restricted to the consulting learning, but moreover into the life learning. So
Yeah,
definitely.
I hope that this was helpful. ऐसा ना हो कि एक घंटे का ज्ञान सेशन हो गया. I just hope that it is not.
All right. So it is actually.
Right.
All right. So I think we should call it a day. And I would like to
Absolutely.
thank you for getting on board for this particular podcast. I would like to thank to the viewers also for keeping your patience instinct throughout this particular meeting. Altogether, I would like to thank Grow Junction for powering this particular podcast. All right, sir.
Guys,
Thank you so much.
guys, do like, share, and subscribe to Grow Junction. I was paid by Chandan to say this at the end.
Not at all. Not at all. But all right. You are a mentor. If you say, then definitely I could have paid you. All right, sir. Nice
Take
talking.
care, guys. Right. Nice talking to you, man. Take care. Bye. Bye.